Welcome to the Silver Lining Herbs podcast, where we go over natural health products and solutions for the things that you're dealing with. I'm your host, Josie Young, owner of Silver Lining Herbs, and I have our senior operations manager and longtime team member, Chance Shutnick, here today. What's up, Chance? How's it going?
It's going really good. We're back in the saddle, I guess you could say, today. You know, you have your own personal podcast, Tack Room Talk, and we've been a while since we've been together, so this should be fun to have this dialogue today.
It has been a minute, and we've been doing some spectacular things with Silver Lining. That's one of the things that we really strive on is duplication inside Silver Lining. So, myself as an owner can step out and work on other opportunities and relationships, and you guys are just crushing it here and helping more lives of horses, dogs, and people through natural health. So it's awfully exciting. Today we have a topic that we want to visit about, and that is horse allergies. Especially this time of year, this is something that these horses are susceptible to, and we're going to talk about why they happen, what to do for them, and what we really recommend on the natural health side of things. So Chance, why don't you just dive in and why do horses get allergies this time of year?
Well, I think it's something that if you've ever had a horse with allergies, it becomes a big concern to you. I know, like for myself, I had a horse, it's probably been about 10 years ago. His name's Drifter. We still have him today, but we drove up from Buell here in Idaho and over to Dillon, Montana to meet up and pick up this horse. And when we got home, we went to unload him out of the trailer. It's about a 4-hour drive from Dillon to here, and his head was enormous. And we just suspect that he got bit by a spider or something like that in the trailer. And so, when that happened, that was my first-hand testimonial of seeing that and what I have to do personally to resolve that. So, you asked the question is like, what are allergies? How are they caused? So really it's just some kind of toxin, pollutant, aggravant in the body that is causing the allergen response. And so, like in the case with Drifter, and in that situation, his head swelled up, and so he was some kind of poison or toxin because of that insect type of bite. And so the immune system went a little wild, the liver went a little wild, and caused that type of reaction. But it really doesn't matter whether it's dust, pollen, insect bite, sprays, poisons. It's all the immune system and the liver that's involved in that process.
Yeah, let's dive into that a little bit. So when we think about things that can cause that, obviously the natural causes are dust and pollen, and there's a lot in our part of the country, there's a lot of farming going on right now, those things just circulating in the air, but other things that may not be known to people is some people think they're helping when in reality maybe we might be hurting, right? And so let's think about that, the things that you're giving your horse internally, whether it be hays or grains or anything like that. You got to really think, what are the things that was used to produce that hay or that grain, as far as herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers, things like that. Those toxins are going into the feed, and then you're feeding it to your horse, and then your horse has to deal with it, which in response is a direct hit towards the liver, right? The liver has to deal with that. And when the liver gets system overload, then we start having these issues, hives and things that go on with the skin, itching, irritation, things like that. So that's one thing I really want to make people aware of, so that they can be conscious of all that stuff.
Well, it makes me think about like what's a weed, right?
Exactly.
What is a weed?
Is a plant out of place.
Right. So like then you think about the dandelion, for instance, and this is a story that your dad taught me many years ago is, we deem a dandelion as a weed because it's a plant out of a place. And so if it's growing in our hay pasture, we don't want it there. And maybe it doesn't look pretty in our pasture. So we want it out of there. So we put an herbicide out there to kill the dandelion, when in all actuality, the dandelion is one of the best liver supporting herbs that are out there. So I don't know about you, but when you lead your horses in the springtime past a ripe dandelion, your horse is bending down trying to eat it, right?
Exactly.
So the horse is desiring that. It's in season. It's you know, it's just what that horse is desiring. His intuition is telling them that. And then we say that that's a weed, so we put an herbicide on it. So not only are we not allowing our horses to get dandelions to help support the liver, that's really instrumental in helping these allergen reactions and things like that, we're also you know, causing that horse to be susceptible to toxicity through the herbicides.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we want to stress out a lot is, you know, be aware of what your horse is craving. Pay attention to those types of things. I gathered some horses out of the pasture the other day.
You had the burdocks.
Yeah, exactly. And I had one horse. I had 6 horses in the same pasture, and one horse was caked full of burdock. So what does that tell me? Burdock is a great blood cleanser, right? So I was, as I was cussing a little bit for having all this burdock in his mane and tails, I was like, okay, this horse needs some help in the blood purification aspect. So we address that, and that's what we do is we package variety here. But you think of some of the other herbs, you know, burdock is one of those inside of our liver combination. Milk thistle is another one. I see that growing on ditch banks all the time. You know, then we got the dandelion. Of course, that's another one. So, and this time of year, the dandelion are starting to, you know, be prevalent and out there. So let those horses, if you have the opportunity to have, you know, a field or some wide open spaces, turn your horses loose, let them graze, and just pay attention to what they're eating. You might have 6 different horses, and they might all 6 be eating something different. But if you do not, that's what we do here is we package that variety, and we have some awesome customer service reps. They're very knowledgeable about what to do. Give us a call, and we'll help you out with that. So,
well, I think there's a great point you made about the burdock. And even thinking about the dandelion or the milk thistle too, right? So like I have milk thistle, I have burdock, and I have dandelions like in my pasture, but I really don't have enough to truly suffice the need of the horse. And so that's the genius of silver lining, is to give that variety of vegetation back to the horse that's easy for the consumer, but also really beneficial to the horse. Another thing I was thinking about with this time of year, you mentioned like farming and things like that, but this is like vaccine deworming season too, you know, and that plays a huge number. We hear about this all the time from clients where they're having a vaccine reaction and things like that. And you know, how I was raised is I didn't know any different. You know, I didn't know there was an alternative to not vaccinating. So talk a little bit about that. Like, what do you do if you do have a reaction, but like what's some alternatives to it?
Yeah, you know, I don't personally vaccinate any of my horses. You know, we believe in giving a horse what they need when they need it, and then also paying attention to what the horse is telling us. Like I said before, you know, paying attention to the burdock in their mane and eating you know, different plants and vegetation that's out there and just giving them that stuff. But you know, we really pay attention to what the horse is telling us through acupressure points or, you know, training instances. If a horse is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, don't go to, you know, making it rougher on them. Like, let's figure out internally what's going on.
Stop and say why. Like, why is this happening?
Exactly. And so we try to address issues that might be making the horse not perform, rather than you know, thinking right off the bat, he's just being stubborn.
Right.
You know, because horses are very pleasing animals, and they want to do what they're asked as long as they feel good. And when horses can't physically talk, then we got to listen in other ways. And so we're really trying to drive that home. But, you know, at Silver Lining, we have such a wide variety of products that, you know, I don't believe in giving them vaccinations, because I feel like, in my opinion, that if I put something into their body that is attacking or tearing down another piece of their body, then I really don't want to do that when I have the ability to take care of the issue at hand and make the rest of the body healthy at the same time.
That's exactly right. Like once I heard that for the first time, it like made total sense. Why would I subject my horse to something that I'm trying to keep it away? Yes, I get the whole philosophy behind, stimulating the immune system and things like that. But why not just stimulate the immune system and make the body healthy without ever subjecting it to that virus or ailment or what have you?
Yeah, and the reason for that is because herbs are so recognizable to the body as food. And
Right.
so when it's so recognized as food, it's 100% utilized and absorbed, and the stuff that they don't need passes through, the stuff they do need is utilized, and it's not harmful in any way. And I just highly prefer the herbs over anything else. And I rodeoed for many years, and I traveled all over the country, and when I was hauling horses to 50-60 rodeos a year, I was very fortunate. My horses, they weren't getting sick like other horses. They weren't, they were drinking out of the same water troughs as some of them, they weren't getting crippled and breaking down, because these horses, when they have the right things, just like ourselves, when we're put together and we support the system that was given to us by our Creator, and we maintain optimal health, then the body does very, very well. And so
yeah, the body always wants to heal itself, and we just got to give it the tools to do it.
Yeah. And I just think that the world has gotten away from it. People make horse health way too difficult. When people come and see how we do things, they're like, man, that's so simple. And simple's good. Doing too much can be harmful. And I think if you just keep it simple and keep it natural, you're on the right path.
And what you really said right there is like give the body what it needs to help support its own health. So like in the allergy situation, like a steroid is a really good example, right? So like when we have hives break out and things like that, the first thing we think about, like the way I was raised to think, is like go get a steroid to like an antihistamine, right? But what does that do? That puts a Band-Aid on it. It just suppresses the system. It does nothing to give back to the body to actually feed itself to recover.
Exactly. And what are you doing? What is the portion of the body that is affected during allergies? It's the immune system, and it's also the liver. Right?
And help people understand what the liver really has to do with the allergen response.
So the liver is the purification process of the blood, right? So when you think of the organs, anything that goes in the body, the liver has to deal with, or on the body, mind you. So when you think of fly sprays, chemical fly sprays, and things like that. So when it absorbs into the body, it goes into the bloodstream, and those toxins, when they're in the blood, the liver has to deal with it. And when you have all these toxins, when the liver's struggling anyways, and you put a steroid or chemical fly sprays or things like that, then it goes to where? The liver.
The liver.
And the liver is like already system overload. So it's like, oh crap, I'm getting more stuff. So you might mask a symptom of, okay, I feel a little better now, but you've really just torn down the liver even more. And so when it goes to the liver, after those toxins, if they get through the liver, then it goes to the kidneys.
Right.
And the kidneys is the last line of filtration. It goes into the urinary tract and out on the ground where it's supposed to be. But if it stops at the liver, then that's when you see the things come out through the skin of irritation and hives and itching and all the stuff that might happen. So it's very, very crucial to give the body what it needs, and that it can actually deal with the problem and not mask the symptom and make the problem worse.
Well, I'm really glad that you said that you need to give the body what it needs, because I was just thinking about, clients that call in and say, hey, my horse is 12 years old. He's never had allergies before, but all of a sudden it's this year he's having bad allergies. Well, the reason for that is because there's been a deficiency that's gradually been occurring over time. And, for whatever reason, this was the year that the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So that's why, whether you have allergies or not, you need to be thinking in that preventative mode. So just like the example of the dandelion or the milk thistle or the burdock in the pasture, if your horses aren't getting ample amount of that, it's up to you as a caregiver to supplement that in. And so whether you have allergies or not, the liver support is a great thing to be doing in the spring along with the immune system, just because like here right now, like it's supposed to be 80 degrees tomorrow or today or something like that. And then it was like 29 a week ago here or something like that. So their bodies are having to deal with a lot. So as a caregiver, it's our responsibility to, like you say, listen.
Yep. And
once we listen, then we have to put action behind it. And Silver Lining has something here to do exactly that.
Exactly. And herbs, like everybody is so accustomed to being like, let's give it to them now and tomorrow we're going to be good. That's not how the body works. The body just cannot heal overnight with advanced issues, especially with allergies and things like that. But what it can do is it starts working right away. And when we talk about not masking the issues and getting to the root of the problem, how far you walk in the woods you really have to walk back out of. That's something that my dad always said, and it makes a lot of sense. So it's not going to be an overnight fix, but we are headed in the right direction. So what are some of the things, Chance, that we can look for in these horses to see progression?
Yeah, so like I was actually going to make this example. Like usually it takes a little bit of time, like you said. Like as far as you walk into the woods, you got to walk back out of the woods. A lot of times though, you know the way, so it's a little bit quicker, right? Yeah. But for my horse that had that allergen response, like the next morning he was like 90% better, and another day later he was a lot better than that. But typical answer to that question is like 7 to 10 days to see some differences, and more noticeable differences after 30 to 45 days. In the case of like hides and different things like that, you're going to see a dramatic difference in just a few days. Like you said, it's going to go to work right away, so they're going to be getting relief. But because our whole philosophy is healing the horse from the inside out, that's going to take a little bit of time. So even if you're seeing like dramatic results in that first week or 10 days or something to that effect, you need to keep going, because you're not all the way out of the woods. We actually have to support that liver, support that immune system, and give that nutritional integrity back to it, so that way we can actually have true health. Because if this horse is 15 years old and he's had like a little runny eye every spring for year over year, you're not going to just get it resolved in a few days. Don't think of it as like a pharmaceutical. Think about it as rebuilding the foundation up for that horse, so we can get the results that we truly need. And
there's just a lot of things, like because we have such a variety in these products, yes, they are designed to help these specific issues, but a lot of the herbs in there do a lot of different things. So not only are we helping the liver and the allergies and the immune system, but we're also helping, a little bit of the whole body. And so as far as,
well, that's why you'll find like digestive herbs in there and everything too.
Yeah. So don't think that, the allergy is gone or whatever. You think it might be gone or whatever. It's okay to go a little longer, and it's extremely healthy for them. So, if people have questions, Chance, and they want these answered, they have maybe a horse that they're dealing with, what do you suggest that they do?
Well, we have a great team of nutritional advisors here at the company, and they're well trained, and they've walked the miles and had hundreds of these types of conversations. And so give us a call. That's the best advice I could have to you. 866-543-6956 is our toll-free number, and you can have a consultation with one of our team members. Also, we're available through the website chat, info@silverliningherbs.com, on social media. So our mission statement here is to deliver natural health products and education. It's a two-piece part here. So we want optimal health for your animals. So use us, so that way we can better the quality of life for your horses.
Absolutely. Well, it was a great chat today. That's an awesome topic that I always enjoy talking about and making people aware of this. Make sure you guys tune in next week. Our next topic is on laminitis, and this is another one that you're not going to want to miss. I'm your host, Josie Young, Chance Shutnick. We're out for now.